In today's special video, I'm going to be making a cutting board. Now, cutting board is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And the hardwood I'm going to be using, actually there are two hardwoods that I'm going to be using to do this cutting board. And they are mahogany and along with oak. Before we start with the cutting board, I would like to extend prayers and blessings to my family and along with my brothers and sisters in Haiti after another devastating earthquake. If you would like to support, please follow the scrolling text on the bottom part of the video. Your offerings would be well appreciated. Merci beaucoup. Now back to the cutting board. During the announcement, I took my hot circular saw and I cut the wood down to the size. And along with my portable 10-inch Ryobi table saw, I ripped down the wood to the length. Now, the length and width of a cutting board can vary from the smallest, which can be 8 by 10, to the largest, which can be a 20 by 30 inch. I'm making a 8 by 10 inch cutting board today. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to slow down the video so everyone can get a chance to see how to make a cutting board. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm doing the glue up. Now, it's very important that you watch this process because the glue up is very important. Be very generous on the glue. You can use as much as glue as possible. Now, I had a set of bar clamps in my shop, so I put it underneath the cutting board so that I can start the clamping process. Now, this process here is very important because this is where you get your squeeze out. The squeeze out, which is a very good sign that you covered most of all the wood with enough glue. Now, what is the difference between an edge grain and an end grain cutting board? Well, the edge grain cutting boards require less upkeep than the end grain cutting boards. Since the grains of the wood are not exposed, the wood will soak up less moisture, making it less likely to warp or crack if not oiled properly. Now, the end grain cutting board are the most durable, have the ability to hide knife marks, and will not dull knives as quickly as plastic or glass cutting boards. Now, once all the boards glued all together, you can set your clamp up and then let all the glue dry up overnight. Now, after that, you might have some glue on the cutting board itself, but that's not a problem. Once you have a planner, you can just run it through. I have a thickness planner, a DeWalt thickness planner, so I was able to just run it through and get this board nice and smooth. Now, for those of you who don't have a thickness planner, a belt sander works perfect. Now we have to repeat the process all over again. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, we're making an end grain cutting board. Once both sides of the cutting board were nice and smooth, once I passed my thickness planner, I was able to put them together again and try to work on a nice pattern. So what I did, I laid all the pieces on my table saw so I could come up with a nice design. After flipping the pieces for a few minutes, I arrived to a design I really like, and then I started the gluing process. Brothers and sisters, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to your Black Empowerment channel, where you are inspired, empowered, and encouraged to build. Now, for this step, we're going to repeat the same process as before. Lots of glue, brothers and sisters, lots of glue, because you would need this because we're doing an end grain cutting board, and an end grain cutting board are the most durable and have the ability to hide all knife marks and will not dull your knives. Now, once you apply your glue on the pieces for the cutting board, all you have to do is just spread out the glue just a little bit. And as you can see, brothers and sisters, that this pattern is beautiful. I really like this pattern. Wow, this is great. This is going to be a really great cutting board. Now that you finish with the glue up, you want to make sure both of your clamps are nice and tight on both sides so you can get that initial squeeze out. Now there's gonna be some glue on the face of the board, so just go ahead and just wipe it down, so that won't be a problem for your next phase, which is gonna be putting your cutting board through the thickness planner. In this case, I'm not planning to do a lot of sanding, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run my cutting board through the thickness planner at least more than once, so I can get a good result. Now the second reason that you run the cutting board through the thickness planner more than once is to prevent it from rocking. If you lay it flat on the table, it shouldn't rock. In order to prevent that, what you do is you run the smoothest part, the cutting board, on its back, and on top part, which you think that is rocking, has to go right inside that thickness planner in order to get both sides even. Now that you fixed the problem where the cutting board is rocking, you can start thinking ahead. How do you really want your cutting board to look? Some people like jewel screws, some people like handles at the end. Well, now this is a perfect example to start really thinking about this. I really like cutting boards to have jewel screws and handles at the end. All my cutting boards must have a rubber cutting board legs with a non-rustic screws. Towards the end of the video, you will see how I installed those cutting board legs. And the only process I would not be able to show you is how I made the handles at the ends. What I did at this point, I took out my jewel screw jig, and along with my Ryobi palm router with a round nose attachment to it. Now, for those of you that go to the gym, this is very important because you have to use your whole body, your whole core to get this jewel screw to perfection. Now, I had to practice a little bit, but I think I did a great job, and I took out my portable vacuum and I cleaned out the dust. Well, we're almost finished, but not quite yet. The next step is you can add your mineral oil on the cutting board itself. Some people soak it overnight. I did not do that process. I just put an extra amount of mineral oil on the cutting board, and from there, I just kind of like I did both sides. I did the top of the cutting board and also the back of the cutting board. And at this point, as you can see, I did add the handles, but now I'm going to show you how you can add the legs to your cutting board to make it more sexier. And what you're going to do, you're going to take out your T-square. You're going to measure an inch. Now you're going to take out your drill and you're going to drill a small pilot hole. Get your non-rustic screw and along with your rubber legs. Now you're going to do the same thing on all four sides. Make sure that they're even. Wow, this is a really sexy cutting board, along with a handle and jewel screw. I love it. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. My name is Benoit Sherry. Peace out.